you're joining us, or if you haven't signed up yet, definitely go to stamphappyacademy.ning.com and get registered, subscribe, and then you can get all of the fantastic stuff that we offer. Okay, moving on to today. So today, thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie says SHA is awesome, and Bonnie's not wrong. We are using the Choose Happy stamp set. This is a standalone stamp set in the catalog. And stamp sets, Choose Happy, page 24. My adhesive kit, Mary, is $49. You can find it on my blog at barbstamps.com/shop, and you should be able to find the adhesive kits there. So this is actually one of the $1 million stamp sets. This is a stamp set designed by my friend Renee Conkey, and it is shown on page 24 in the catalog, and it's shown above this really fun little saying stamp set called Saying Hey. I do have this one also, but tonight we're focusing on the Choose Happy. Super cute. And then also the Unbounded Love dies. So you will need to have both of these items to complete the cards as I have designed them. A couple of my cards, I'm actually using the Dandy Designs Designer Series paper. Some of you may say, wow, that's really nice new paper. It's not. It's actually an old paper, but it is on the clearance rack. It actually comes 12 by 12, but I have all mine cut down to 6 by 6. And look at these fun patterns. Some of you may recognize it. I believe it was a Celebration choice, gosh, quite a while ago. So we're going to use some of this paper for some of the cards this week. And also go to the online store. You can type Dandy Designs into the search line, and you can actually purchase this paper now. Like I said, it is 12 by 12, but I have mine cut down to 6 by 6. So there you go. Okay, so our first project is going to use these things here. Let me get these out. This is my scrap for the day. So card number 1, you're going to get a Berry Burst card base. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I just realized that I think my camera is super cattywampus right now. And I really hate that. Sorry, I know that was probably super annoying, but I like it to be straight. Okay, there we go. Anyways, a Berry Burst card base. What did I say? 5.5 by 8.5. Thank you guys all for joining me tonight. If you could give me the thumbs up, that'd be awesome. YouTube likes that. I like that. It's just fun. All right, we're also going to have in the kit a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white that is going to go on the inside. We also have another layer of white, and this one, looking at my cheat sheet, is 3.5 by 4 3/4. We have 1 inch by 4.5 inch strips of 3 colors: Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and the Berry Burst. We've got a 2-inch circle of white. You'll get all these pieces in your kit. And then a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is a 1 by 5 1/4. That's going to go on our inside layer. So to start out with, we're going to do a tiny bit of stamping with some of these adorable little images in here. And also in your scrap of white, you're going to need to die cut this little label out of the Unbounded Love dies, okay? So you're going to get a piece of white that you can die cut this out of. And then we're going to do a little stamping. So I'm going to use my Memento. Thank you guys for sharing and thumbs upping. I appreciate that a ton. All right, so I've got the little sun image here. Stamp that. I've got the little apple. Stamp that. And then I have this cute little bird. Okay, I'm going to stamp that. So to make it easier, I'm going to snip this out of this large piece because I'm going to color these. And I think it'll be easier to color without that giant piece of cardstock in my way. So we've got that. We also need to clean off our stamps because we're going to do a little tone-on-tone stamping with them. And we're going to use the same colors of cardstock. So I'm going to bring in these little strips. And I then have my Berry Burst. Let me set that aside for just a second. I've got Berry Burst. I've got Granny Apple Green, and I've got Daffodil Delight. And I need a scratch piece of paper so that I can put all these strips down. And we're going to stamp randomly on these. So I've got the sun, I'm going to stamp in yellow. So I'm just going to kind of stamp the sun sort of randomly here, kind of up the whole strip. And then wherever I may have kind of missed, I'm just going to come back and add the edge of the rays, just because I want this to look like, you know, some seriously random stamping on here. And we'll do that. There's also an adorable little face image. Well, let me stamp it and then you can see it, that we're going to stamp in the center of these suns. How cute is that? It is really cute. There we go. So that piece is done. So the yellow is done. So now we're going to do the apples in the Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to kind of stamp randomly with my apple stamp and my Granny Apple Green here. Just kind of going all the way up the piece. And then we'll come back and do a little filler as we need to, just to kind of get some stamping all over that. All right, and then finally the Berry Burst is going to be this adorable little bird. I just got a little heavy-handed there, so allow me to kind of get some of that off, because you know what's going to happen, don't you? It's probably going to end up on my cardstock, which, yeah. Okay, so we're just going to stamp this fun little birdie. Do that same kind of thing, just kind of randomly, and then we'll come back in and maybe add a bit wherever we don't have enough on the edges. Okay, and then I'm going to clean all of these off before I go ahead and stick them back in my box, since I was super heavy-handed with that Berry Burst. I really made a mess with that. So my Granny Apple Green and my Daffodil Delight I wasn't quite as crazy with. So all right, so we have all of our strips done. I'm going to close up these inks, because again, we all know what's going to happen if the ink is up. Like, look what I just did. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Excuse me while I lick my thumb and wipe it on my pants. And then I'm going to wipe this ink pad on my pants too, because that color, good grief, I literally have Berry Burst all over my fingers. I have it all over my thumb. I got it on my hand right there. Wow. Not even sure how in the world that happens, but it seems to happen a lot. Jean is joining us. Hello, Jean. Joan said the extra ink ends up on my fingers than ever. I know, it's just a constant battle, isn't it? Ugh, so annoying. Okay, we're going to color these images in. So I've got a Daffodil Delight marker. This is the dark one, I believe. Yes, for the sun. So I'm going to color the inside of the circle here. And then I'm going to do on the outside, I'm just going to kind of add just a little streak on all of these little rays that are coming off. All right, just about done with that. And then I'm going to bring in the Berry Burst. I think I'm going to use the light to color the apple. Not the stem or the leaf, but the main apple. So this apple, this is a new apple. This is called the Berry Burst apple. As you guys probably know, I am one of those people that does not care how things are colored in the wild. I am going to color things however I need them colored for whatever I'm working on. All right, and then I'm going to use Granny Apple Green on this little bird, and I know I probably should have done those opposite, but you know what? It is what it is. Because I wanted to do the stem and the leaf on my apple green, and if I would have colored the apple green and then the stem and the leaf green, then it would just be a green. And I kind of didn't want to do that. So there we go. I think I'm going to use the dark Granny Apple for my stem and my leaf, and then of course the beak on the bird. And then I'm going to do a tiny bit of shading on his wings and his tail with my dark Granny Apple Green. And then we're going to bring the light back in and then just kind of do a little blending here, which I'm not that great at, but we're going to wing it anyway. And then we'll just kind of finish that off. And there we are. Now, I did fussy cut all of these out, so I know you're probably groaning, but it really didn't take me that long. So here are my pieces. I'm actually going to do a little bit more on this little stem here on my apple. I did not cut quite enough of that off. Okay, so I'll use those on something else. So I've got those done. Then my little label here, I am going to stamp the little words from the set, choose and joy. And so we're going to use just Memento Black for that. So I'm going to ink up my choose. And I'm going to scooch this down just a little bit because my eyeballs are terrible. And I'm just going to kind of stamp it sort of up near the top of the label, like that. And then the word joy, I'm going to stamp just below that, kind of in that little V that's down there. So this is what we have, the choose joy. All right. And so I think now that we've got everything stamped and fussy cut out, we can go ahead and put this together. What do we have here? So for the inside piece, I'm just going to add this layer of Granny Apple Green Designer Series paper to the edge here. So just like this, pretty simple. There we go. And then I'm going to add this to the inside of the card. Now watch me, when I put the rest of the card together, I'm going to end up putting the front on backwards or something because I've already done this. I shouldn't be doing this. I should do this at the end. We're just going to hope that we get it done correctly. Okay. I can't remember exactly how I wanted these lined up. I feel like it might be like this. And then I'm going to put the circle on here. And then I'm just going to kind of add my pieces. I actually think I want the green over here, and then the berry burst in the middle, and then the daffodil on the edge. I think that's what I'm going to go for here. And obviously it's not glued down yet, but I just kind of want to do this for placement and what have you. And then I'm going to add my little Choose Joy label kind of off to the side. Just have, I don't know, it's just like a little collection of goodies in there. But I also need some baker's twine or some linen thread. I think we're going to go with linen thread. And you guys will always you'll get some of this in your kit too. And somebody said, la, 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 la. Yeah. Nell said she wears jeans for crafting. I totally get that. And Patricia says, I always get the most saturated colors on me. Really, the letter, because I know. So that's why, of course, it would be Berry Burst. I didn't dip my hand in the Daffodil Delight. Of course not. So anyway, it is what it is. So I'm going to tie this into kind of a large bow, like with bigger loops. And then, you know, a long-ish tail. So something like this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to end up sticking it underneath my Choose Joy, just so it has a little bit of texture going onto it. So let's go ahead and get these strips added to the card. You can see I'm cheating because I had already done that on the other side. But I wasn't going to throw it out. Why would I throw it out? That would be silly. Okay, so we're going Granny, and then we're going to have our daffodil on the other end. And I'm just going to flip it around because I am a right-handed stamper, and so I don't want my left hand getting in my way, like when I'm trying to cross over hands. I don't like that. Whoops, come on, you little stinker, get moving. All right, and then we will add this one in the center between the two. Hopefully we lined it up right. I find when I'm doing things like this, if I put the two edge ones on first, then I can kind of wiggle around the middle one to get it in the right spot. Okay, I'm going to use some dimensionals to adhere this circle, and I have just a few left on this sheet that came out of one of my kits. And I'm just going to kind of set this like right there. And then that's going to go. Okay, so now I'm going to add my sun. Let me use a little bit of liquid glue just because. And this is kind of going to hang off the edge a little bit. And then my little bird friend is going to kind of be flying like so. And then my apple just kind of down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to add my little Choose Joy. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple glue dots on the back of this Choose Joy. And then I'm going to stick my bow to the glue dots and hope that that's going to work. I mean, I think it should. If I can get some of that. And then I'm going to add a little glue to this end, and then I'm going to put a dimensional on the other end, so that when I stick it on my card, the dimensional is kind of in the same height as the circle. So we're doing something like this. We're going to pull that around just a little bit. And can I peel this bird off and move it over just a little? Look at that, I can. Okay, so then I'm going to add this to the front of my card. And then our first card is finished. So I hope you guys like it. I thought it was fun with all the bright colors and using the tiny little goodies. The tiny little stamps I think are super cute. So there we go. And then on the inside, you can write, whatever you want to write. I think it could be just any occasion card. You could send this to someone for their birthday as a thank you, just, whatever. And I think it would really brighten someone's day to get it in the mail because it is so fun, so bright.